Hello, fellow vaporants. Hikaru here with my review of the Elevator by 7th Floor Vapes. For full disclosure, I responded to their post about a week or so ago requesting people to review their newest butane vape. And so I responded to the thread and I was picked, and so I received this unit as a free review unit. I'll start off by saying on this, straight off, this vaporizer is not for you. If you're under 21, if you're looking for discreetness in a vaporizer, this would include like living with parents or in a dorm or with roommates that you're trying to be discreet around. This vaporizer isn't for you. Uh, if you're the type of person that's, again, probably a younger person that, you park on the street or you go to parking lots or a city park for that matter to kind of get away from home to then consume, then this vaporizer is not for you. If you don't have any interest in butane torches or using butane vaporizers or working with an open flame or hot objects, this vaporizer is not for you. With that, if you're prone to clumsiness and you have a habit of dropping things, then again, this being glass and being a hot object is probably not a vaporizer for you. Uh, this vaporizer may be for you if you're looking for a convection vaporizer, if you're wanting an all glass air path, if a zero point 0.1 gram chamber in a vaporizer isn't cutting it for you, if you're looking for a vaporizer that you can quickly heat up and get that intense heat to get a bunch of vapor off of your vaporizer from, then this is a good vaporizer. And if you're looking for a good convection butane vape that doesn't have the torch and the airflow like some of the other butane vaporizers that are out there. So let's look at what came with this unit. So it comes in their Elevate box, which is just a simple box. Inside, everything's wrapped. There's a small brochure there, a pamphlet with some instructions. Everything's wrapped in brown paper. Uh, let's see, it comes with an adapter for 14 to 18 mil. It comes with a glass stem, comes with a water pipe attachment, comes with some extra screens, a flavor disc, ceramic flavor disc for your concentrates, a hat pin poker, and what's called the SIC clip to help hold on what is the elevator, which is the unit you heat up. So it's nice that this, you pay one price, it comes with everything you need. You plan on doing water pipe or not, you get everything there, even some spare screens. And then here's what the unit with the stem looks like together. So it's about 9.5 inches, maybe about 23 to 24 millimeters in length. Um, so then here we have the unit. So let me come back over to my bullet points here. So I kind of just went through everything you get. What you'll need is you'll definitely need a high-powered culinary or dabbing type torch. I come from butane vaporizers. I really like butane vaporizers. The VapCap, the Lotus, Vapman, Hammer Pro, and a few others. And when I first got this device, I tried using just a normal single flame torch. I tried using my double tip torch. I even tried using my Bunsen burner that I have, and it still didn't quite get too hot. It had a nice wide flame, but I was spending a good amount of time trying to heat. So I then went out and just got a nice, heavy duty torch, and so that's what I would definitely recommend for this. If you don't have that, then that's something you'll need. So this would probably be a good vaporizer for anybody that currently does a lot of dabbing and may have that. If you're the type that's heating up glass nail or heating up nails or quartz bangers or anything, then you may also like this may fit into your collection nicely. So you'll also need about it's recommended 0.25 grams per chamber, and I would suggest going with that. I've tried using like zero point 0.1 or 0.15, it just didn't seem to really do as good. Not having the chamber full, it kind of left a lot of open space to where I was still kind of getting some hits, but they weren't as good as going with the full 2.5. Some highlights for me. Uh, what I really liked about it is that the flavor to me was just amazing. Um, some of the best flavor I've gotten out of a vaporizer, and I think that a lot of that has to do with the full glass air path. Um, for me, it never seemed to really get too hot. I would kind of go with the video that they released, that Seventh Floor and Elevate did, kind of showcasing the product a little bit, and they used a torch and recommended going for 45 seconds. So what I would generally do is on my first heat cycle, I would go through for 45 seconds heating it up. I would kind of make sure that there's some little indentions here, little spikes that they push in. So I may kind of hit the tip on those spikes pretty good. And so I do that for 45 seconds, and then I would take my draw. Um, I would draw with it kind of hanging down so that all my material is kind of there to get the air as soon as it comes in. If I felt like it was really hot and that it may be too hot and I was kind of worried about overcooking, then I would kind of flip it up and kind of do like a chillum to maybe get a little bit more airspace in there to cool it down. But I never really ever had an issue with overcooking. I would do a 45 count first heat cycle, and then like after I could get like probably 3 good draws with the stem out of that. Kind of a fourth one that was wispy, and then after that I'd heat it again for maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and then I was able to get a good 3 draws out of it. Um, it was kind of interesting because I also tried it with a water piece, just kind of a generic water piece that doesn't have any multiple diffusers or anything like that, and it worked really well. One of the things I noticed with the water piece is that it really likes you to pull hard on it, and so after trying it with the water, when I then went back to the stem, I found that on that first draw or even the second draw, I mean, you can just pull hard on it and just get a whole bunch of air in. You don't have to draw slow or anything. You can just take a good, comfortable, healthy draw and get a lot of vapor. And then maybe on that third or fourth hit, I take a little bit slower draw after it kind of cooled down. But yeah, it's just as soon as you get done heating that up, just as hard as you can just get a big old hit off of it. So uh, let's see. I like that. So again, I never really felt that I came close to combusting. Uh, a lot of times when I was heating it up, it was kind of haphazard. I didn't really look at seconds. I was just kind of doing counts and sometimes being a little trashed. I may forget the number and I'd pick it back up again. But even then, I never felt that I was getting anywhere close to combusting or over toasting the material for a bad taste or anything. So I guess there's that possibility if you go for a minute or so, but it didn't happen to me too much. One of the other things I like is that I just kind of used a regular grind, and you just fill the chamber. Uh, don't pack or anything like that. So I'd fill it probably about halfway. The 0.25 grams fill it about halfway. And so that's what the documentation says, is to fill halfway or 3/4. And what I really liked is that with most convection vaporizers and a lot of vaporizers, it helps that, after a draw or two, open it up and stir it a little bit, and then put the top back on. That's the way it is a lot with my Lotus. Even with my E-Nano, after a draw, I'll usually kind of stir up the chamber a little bit. But with this, what was really nice is with just having it loose and a good sized chamber, is you just, like in the Elevate video, you can just sit there and shake it. So, it's like I take a draw, or as I'm drawing, I can spin and have the material kind of move around as the air is coming over it. And so I really like that option. It really made it nice. So even though this is super hot, I didn't really ever feel a need to take it off. When I first started using it, I kind of did, just to kind of so I could see my vape, so I could see the material and how it was cooking a little bit better. But you can actually kind of see through the glass pretty good here. I would say that's with both these pieces. On this one here, you have a little bit more area to kind of see. Let's see here. But yeah, and then like I said before, I could just take big, powerful draws off of it. I didn't have to take sips. I didn't have to take baby draws. I didn't have to draw slowly. Like right after I heated that up, you could just take a big old huge draw off of it. Some of my biggest issues with it, um, for me, kind of one of the big drawbacks is the large chamber size. Uh, I'm kind of a microdoser. That's what I love about my vac cap a lot. And the 0.25 gram chamber was kind of large for me. But I'll get into that a little bit uh, in some more rambling talk. I want to try to get as much info out real quick for y'all. Uh, so that was kind of a big draw for me. That's something that if I hadn't received this vaporizer free and I was doing research on it and I saw that it had like a 0.25 gram chamber, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of big for me. But I'll get into that a little bit. I think that even though it has that, there is a potential for efficiency there. Um, Another thing I would say is that I like the hat pin a lot as a poker, but when I first started using it, the mix I had uh, would kind of break up into it was kind of dry and kind of break up into a fine type of powder. So it'd kind of get through the screen and it would kind of clog up the screen and kind of come down in here. So went to poke the screen because it got clogged kind of quickly on me. But I ended up I got a piece of hanger and cut it to be able to poke up through here to get far enough to kind of poke the screen up to be able to then get my finger in there and pull it out. So I would maybe say what would be nice is if you could include a poker that's maybe the same length as the stem, so it would fit in the box. Wood, metal, whatever. Just something to maybe help people that aren't inventive enough to cut up a wire hanger. But something to maybe kind of help with that. Um, the other thing is with the WPA, the water pipe adapter, um, kind of even putting a sit clip on it. My water piece is a pull bowl. So for me, after heating it up and then taking a draw, going to kind of do a pull, this clip would kind of get hot if I wasn't careful and watching how I heated. What I ended up doing is there's the little indentions for the heat, for the spikes, and I'd kind of put my torch on those. What I ended up doing is kind of putting this at the top one so that as I'm going around, I'm kind of, and I would try to hold my torch away from that. And that kind of helped then do the pull. This area would get kind of warm after taking a draw. It might not get too hot to be able to kind of pull and put back in for a lot of people, but for some people it may, depending on the calluses of your fingers. What I ended up doing is I had some atomizer kind of safety bands from a Smock 22 mil atomizer, e-cig atomizer, and I found that those really fit great on here. So maybe as a suggestion to seventh floors, maybe kind of get some of these e-cig bands that would fit on here, maybe some silicone tubing. And then once I put those on there, it made it a lot easier to grab and use. In the Elevate video, when they're demonstrating, they kind of put the water piece on their piece, and then he's holding the piece and kind of moving the torch around. I'd actually pulled it off and found it easier to sit here and kind of heat like this and spin around and that's why I guess I kind of liked putting these silicone pieces on here, because you could also do it here. It's just a little bit harder to hold, but I could get a good hold on it, heat it up and then drop it in my piece, pull when I need to, and then let it sit and cool off or whatever. But I found that very helpful. So that may be something they want to look into, is maybe putting some silicone tubing on there or something like that. But yeah, like I was talking with efficiency, normally the 0.25 gram chamber size would scare me off, but then I've been kind of thinking about it, and because I honestly really like this vaporizer. And I think the thing that stood out most to me and kind of makes me want to put this in my routine is just the flavor was amazing to me. I mean, just every draw was just great flavor. Uh, when I kind of finished off experimenting with it last night, with a 2.5 gram chamber, I was able to get 8 heat cycles with, I would say, 3 good draws on each heat cycle. And I was getting 4 draws, but that fourth draw was pretty wispy, but I would say I could get two good strong draws, and then that third one I may tone it down a little bit, not pull quite as hard, but still get a good amount of vapor. So if we're looking, comparing that to something like the VAP cap, like the VAP cap M or the TI model, your VAP cap's going to use about zero point 0.1 gram in the chamber. So if you want to compare that to something like this, you're looking at three chambers for zero point 0.3 grams. In the VAP cap, on average, I would say you're looking at three heat cycles per chamber with maybe two good draws. So you're looking at like 6 draws per chamber times three chambers, which would be the zero point 0.3. You're looking at like 18 draws. Uh, if you wanted to go 4 draws, you could then, you could maybe bump that number up a bit more. But then, if you're looking at this unit and you're getting like 6 heat cycles with 3 draws each, then that it kind of evens out about the same. So I don't know, just trying to do the stoner math in my head, I kind of feel that the efficiency is there. It's just I'm so used to microdosing. I'm so used to loading a full chamber and going through that full chamber and dumping it and then getting a fresh one when I want it. To where with something like this, it would probably be a matter of loading it up, going through about 2 heat cycles and setting it down, and then coming back to it a little while later. And I think you could draw it out and get the same amount of efficiency but get the great flavor from this. And even on that sixth hit, I was getting really good flavor. It was probably about the seventh and eighth ones when it was getting really toasty and noticeable. So I think even though it has the large chamber, the efficiency's there. That's the thing I've been kind of struggling with because I actually really like this, and so I'm trying to figure out how to fit it into my budget, my routine, and what I can afford as far as material to use in it goes. So, right now I'm kind of looking at maybe using it as a good weekend vape and trying to figure that out, and then maybe seeing, I'm going to kind of look at my use during the week with my VAP cap and kind of add it up and see, because I really kind of, now that I have this and I've been able to test it and the flavor is great, I really kind of want to work it into my routine. I guess the other drawback with me is the amount of butane I was going in this torch. This torch is a fair torch. I'd empty out the tank in it pretty quick. So I'd maybe do like I don't know, a couple of heat cycles, and then I would, as I set it and let it cool, then I'd go ahead and fill my torch for the next time I came around. But yeah, I got this on a Friday night. I'm going to talk about my experience with it just real quick. I got it on a Friday night. I put a little bit in the chamber, probably up to about here when you need to fill it up to about here. Let me see if I can show that. You need to fill up halfway. I just kind of filled it up to the line there. Um, I was trying just a regular torch and the Bunsen burner I have, and I was kind of getting a little bit of vape and getting some good flavor out of it, but I was like, nah. So then I went and bought the big torch, came back home, kind of got a few hits off the small amount, but then I went ahead and dumped it and then loaded it up a good half chamber, and yeah, that kind of knocked me out that night after that. I got up Saturday morning and then I did a half chamber, and that worked pretty good. And so then I went ahead and got some different herb to try because I wanted to see how the stuff I had would kind of break up to be pretty fine. I wanted to get something that was a little bit leafier. So I've got some different herbs to try, and then that's when I tried the water piece. With the water piece, I wouldn't say it's as efficient. I was really drawing pretty hard out of it, and on Sunday when I tried it, I actually counted, and I got like 3 heat cycles with some really huge draws, but those were some that kind of really knocked me on my ass. I ended up falling asleep after that. But yeah, I would say the water pipe adapter, you're not going to get quite as much efficiency. Uh, I also used it with a J hook, and that made for kind of a nice combo. Again, I think I only probably got about 6 heat cycles out of it when I did it with that combination. But that's something that some people. But what was nice is I was able to get a lot more airflow out of the glass J hook than I was out of the regular stem. So that made it kind of nice. It also had really good flavor. You know, you just had more area to draw in more air than with the glass stem. So that's an option for some people, uh, if you want to go dry, but want something different than the stem. And then I would also say though that this right here, I mean, to be honest with you, this is all really nice glass. Uh, the sanding on it's really nice. You know, it's got some smooth edges. It's not just, you know, sometimes when you get cheap Chinese glass, you can see where like your gong's only going to have sanding maybe on part of it, or it's not a good smooth sanding. This is all really nice pieces. So they say it's all made here in America. But I'll be honest, this just looks like a pretty generic 14 mil, 18 mil adapter, you know, 18 female to 14 male, to where some of you may already have something like this in your glass collection, or you may, you know, you could probably go out and get this, put a screen in it, and then go to the 7th floor website, buy the elevator, put it in. There you have a water piece. I know that they sell this piece for like 30 bucks. Um, all this together, though, they sell right now. It seems like it has an MSRP of I think 120, and then they have it on sale on their website for 99, I guess, or just 99 bucks. And then I kind of wanted to get this out because it seems like they have a pre-order for it right now that brings it down even lower. So, do I think it's worth 100 bucks? Yeah, I think it's worth 100 bucks. It's nice glass. I mean, I know you could probably source out a lot of these pieces, but you know, after you kind of buy them third rate, you don't really know what quality you're going to get. You got to pay shipping on that. You know, yeah, you can save a little bit, but it's nice to kind of get everything in one big package. And you know, if you do ever have any issues with it, you could go back to them. You know, to where if there was somehow you could show that it was a stress crack in the glass or something like that, it may be easier to get it replaced than some eBay company or some Chinese company or something like that you're buying from DH Gate or something. So yeah, I think it's worth the value of $100. I think this vape would also be good for that person that posts, hey, I smoke joints and I smoke blunts and I don't know if a vaporizer is going to be good enough for me, but I don't want to spend over $100. Well, this is for you. You can throw your 2.5 grams in there and just get trashed. Or, you know, like I said, it does have some efficiency for a lot of people. You know, you can throw your flour in there and then maybe go through like 2 or 3 heat cycles, set it aside for a couple of hours, and then come back to it and hit it again. And the flavor's still going to be pretty good. I didn't really notice any it getting stale as it sits because it does cool down pretty quick. So, um, but yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I've kind of rambled on. I hope this may help some of answer some questions about it, or at least give you my perspective on it. As someone that has used a variety of butane vaporizers, I didn't find it hard to get started with. I found the flavor to be excellent. Uh, yeah, I was pretty happy with it. So, all right then. Hope to see some of y'all on the Vaporants sub on Reddit. And again, I'd like to thank 7th Floor Vapes for giving the community an opportunity to try this product out and give some feedback on it. Thanks.